on society, on opinions, on conversations, on distribution of information. There's never been a thing like this that the government didn't control. So it makes sense from their perspective, continuing the patterns of behavior that they've always exhibited, which is to have control over the media. I mean, there has been CIA operatives that have been in major newspapers forever. There's always been that. There's always been this sort of input that the government had in mainstream media narratives. They are in a position now where they're losing that. They've essentially lost it. And especially with this the push during COVID deteriorated, as you were saying before, the opinion and the respect that people have for the facts that are coming from mainstream journalism in a way that I've never seen before in my life, where an enormous percentage of the population does not trust mainstream media anymore. So, well, what do they trust? They trust social media. Well, who's running that? Well, there are a bunch of people who figured it out and invented it. Well, no, fuck that. Like, we got to crack down on that. Like, we've got to get our hands on this, which is what we saw during COVID, which is what we saw during the Biden administration's attempt to remove the Hunter Biden laptop story from Twitter and from all these different things that we saw, and they have no control of it. Right? They had CBS, they had NBC, they had when they had the New York Times and all these Washington Post, when they were in control of narratives in that way, it was so much easier. There wasn't some sort of pirate radio voice that came on and said, "Hey guys, look, here's the latest studies that shows this is not true. Here's why they're lying about that. Here's why they're lying about this." And now that's what you get all day long on X. It's all day long is like dissolving illusions. Mm-hmm. And that's a completely new thing that probably led to Trump getting elected.
Yeah, I mean, the causality there is tricky, but because there's a lot of things. I mean,
there's a lot of things.
I mean, it's
but without it, he probably doesn't get elected.
It's tough to know. I mean, I do come back to this point that every major incumbent lost their elections around the world this year.
But I think that's also
it might be because of that revealing how kind of incorrect and dishonest I think some of these governments were.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's quite possible. And I mean, I do think that there is this cycle that goes on where, within a society, it's not just the government that has power.
And I think one of the benefits that we have now of the Trump administration is that they have clearly felt the repercussions of a limited amount of free speech. Of free speech limitations, censorship, government overreach. If anybody saw it, look, I don't know what the actual impact of the Hunter Biden laptop story would have been. I don't know. But there's many people that think it probably amounted to millions of votes overall in the country of people that were on the fence, the people that weren't sure who they're going to vote for. If they found out the Hunter Biden laptop was real, they're like, oh, this is the family's fucking crazy. And they would have voted for Trump. That's possibly real, and if that's possibly real, that could be defined as election interference. And all that stuff scares the shit out of me. That kind of stuff scares the shit out of me when the government gets involved in what could be termed election interference, but through some weird loophole, it's legal. Whereas some
I don't think that the pushing for social media companies to censor stuff was legal. I mean, it's like that's. Right. I mean, there's all this stuff about what, people talk about the First Amendment and okay, these tech platforms should offer free speech like the First Amendment. That I think is a philosophical principle. The First Amendment doesn't apply to companies in our content moderation. It's more of an American ethos about how we think that best dialogue is carried out. But the First Amendment does apply to the government. That's like the whole point, right? Is the government is not allowed to censor this stuff. So, and I think one of the points that he's made is that he thinks that women shouldn't be able to be in certain combat roles. And until we updated our policies, that wouldn't have been a thing that you could have said on our platforms because it would call for the exclusion of a protected category of people. And so, and it's like, okay, like on its face, yeah, calling for the exclusion of a protected category, that seems that like that's okay. There's like legal protections, there's all this stuff, but okay, if it's like okay to say on the floor of Congress, you should probably be able to debate it on social media. Yeah. So I think some of the stuff, I think well-intentioned, went too far, needs to just get rationalized a bit. But it's those two categories, misinformation and hate speech, I think are the ones that got politicized. all the other ones, which is the vast majority of the stuff that we do, is I think people generally agree that it's good and we need to go after it. But then you just get into this problem of the mistakes, like you're talking about. Okay, well, what confidence level do people want us to have in our enforcement? And at what point would people rather us kind of say, okay, I'm not sure that that one is causing an issue. So